We're on.
Oop, careful. Anything I should know that's different about tonight? What is that?
Oh, music. No.
I have you're giving me music? Careful.
I'm going to start.
Yeah.
It says guitar, piano, and join. It's just when you start.
It's in A minor, and I can handle transpose something I don't know.
Just listen to it. Like, I don't even remember if we've done it.
I'm used to like doing. I can handle it. Anything else though I should know? Anything else that's different? No. Anything different?
No.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, fun. Funny. Okay, sounds like it.
Do. Just testing the mic level. I think I'm hearable. So yes, we encourage you to leisurely take your seats. Families, feel free to sit together and pod together nice and close. If you came by yourself or with someone else, don't sit in someone else's personal space, but be close enough that you can kind of feel their essence so that you don't feel too alone. We will begin with Sur Michelot, a wonderful choice. Cantor Aronoff selects different nigunim or Shabbos Zmirot, songs for Shabbat, as a way to get us into the Shabbos mindset. And we have chosen Sur Michelot, which I haven't heard for ages, so I'm very excited. And it's on page 86, so if you want to grab the smaller dark red prayer books, page 86, you can follow along.
Okay, this tune goes like this. Tzur, 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 mishelo achalnu, barechu, emunai, savanu, savanu v'hotarnu, kidvar Adonai. Now, if you don't know the words, it's right on page 86, as Rabbi Yarkin said, and it's in Hebrew, and it's transliterated, and there's even an English translation. The thing about this song, we haven't eaten dinner yet, so I don't know why I'm singing it. It's kind of like, Birkat Hamazon, the blessing that we say when we're done eating. It's kind of like a short version of the blessing after food. It's got some elements of that in it. Okay, but it's also a really cool song that we sing. And on my music, which I just looked for music so I could give it off to David. I've known this for a long time. He's actually probably known it for a long time, but it's a way to communicate, right? I give him notes. He knows what I'm playing. This is called Sor Mishelo number 17, because in the book I found it, there's about 23, and that's only a few of the melodies for this particular Zemer, this particular Shabbos song. So please try it with me. Please open your Siddur to page 86, and you'll hear it a few times. Tzor, 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 mishelo achalnu, barechu emunai, savanu, savanu vehotarnu, kiva Adonai. That's the chorus, actually. Let's do it one more time. Tzor, tzor, tzor. Tzor, 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 mishelo achalnu, barechu emunai, savanu, savanu vehotarnu, kidvar Adonai. Hasanet olamo, roeinu avinu, achalnu et lachmo, ve'yeino shatinu, al keino delishmo, unehalilo bepinu. Amarnu ve'aninu en kadosh Adonai, la 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 la, tzor tzor tzor, mishelo achalnu, barechu emunai, savanu, savanu vehotarnu, kidvar Adonai. V'hishir v'kol toda, nevarech Eloheinu, al eretz chemda tova, שהתחיל אבותינו, מזון וצידה, הצביע לנפשנו. חסדו גבר עלינו, באמת אדוני, לה 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 לה, צור צור צור, משלו אכלנו, ברכו Savanu vehotarnu, kidvar Adonai. Now we're going to look at the last verse on page 86. Well, they're both page 86. On the left-hand side, Yibane HaMikdash. Yibane HaMikdash, Yirtzion Temale, V'sham nashir shir chadash, U'mirna na na'ale, Harachaman HaMikdash. Barach ve'yigdoleh al koz yayin malek birkat Adonai la 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 tzor 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 mishelo achalnu barechu emunai savanu savanu vehotarnu kidvar
That was a beautiful melody. I hadn't heard that before, but by the end of it, I was kind of there. So do it again, another time as well.
I'll do it again.
Sink it in to me. We're going to turn back to our Siddurs, to Lechu Neranina, one of our opening psalms that we always offer on a Kabbalat Shabbat experience. It's from Psalm 95, page 11.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai, nariya letzor yishenu, nekadma fanav b'toda, bizmirot nariya lo, nekadma fanav b'toda, bizmirot nariya lo, ki el gadol Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher biyado nechperei haaretz v'toachot harim lo asher biyado nechperei haaretz v'toachot harim lo asher lo hayam v'yasau v'yimeshet yadav yatzaru mushta. Arba'im shana akut bidor va'omaram to'e levavhem ve'im lo yadu derachai asher nishbati be'api im yevo'un el menuchati.
We turn now to Psalm 98 on page 17 and 18. It's Mizmor Shiru Ladonai, and one of the reasons we chose this is because of this week's Parsha. Because if you notice on page 18, there's a very apt reference. Let the sea and all that is in it roar, the earth and all who inhabit it thunder. Let rivers clap while mountains sing in harmony. So we have nature gone wild, we have thunder, we have the sea roaring, and we know just how appropriate that is for Parshat Noach. Woohoo! Back to page 17, no, that's on page 18, look out for it. Please feel free to sing along if you know the words, or hum, or you can clap or tap. This is a joyful song. We're not flooding the world with disaster, but we're flooding the world with harmony and music and love of us being alive. So, yay!
Adonai shir hadash ki niflaot asa Hoshia lo yemino uzero hacho Hodi Adonai Yeshuato Lenei Elohim Latzikato Nor v'chol zimra v'matzot v'chol shofar harim le'melech Adonai Yiram hayam umlo'or tevel v'yoshveva leharot yemachachav yachad harim Adonai Malach, page 19, and then page 20, Romemu. Adonai Malach Yirgezu Amim Yoshev Kiruvim Tanu Ta'aretz Adonai Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו רוממו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להר קודשו.
We turn to our central prayer for Kabbalat Shabbat, Lecha Dodi. That's page 23 to 25. And on the last verse, if we can, we'll stand up, we'll face the door. We rise to kind of just physically embody Shabbat and bow and let the spirit of Shabbat walk into the room as if she was royalty. And we bow and we say, Boi chala, which means, come, my beloved bride, you're going to be here and have a wonderful weekend with us, Shabbat. So we'll do that. I'll go boo when it's time. But for now, stay seated, page 23.
Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmianu el ha'meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet ve'litila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Nice swaying, Dylan.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'necham ihi b'kol haveracha merosh mikedem nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machshava tila. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala pnei Shabbat nekabela. Mikdash melech ir menucha u'mitzei mitoch apecha rav lachshem yemek habacha ve'hu yachamol alaychem la. Lecha dodi likrat עלייך נגלה, לך דודי.
לקראת כלה, בני שבת, לקבלה, לך דודי. לקראת כלה, בני שבת, לקבלה.
לא תבושי ולא תקרי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי ימים, ונבנתה עיר עתילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה.
Page 25.
והיו לי בשישה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן על כלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרותי, ואת אדוני תעריצי. אל יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצוהלה. תוך אמונן עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת לקבלה.
Thank you for greeting Shabbos so
Good
enthusiastically together. We get to sit down now. We've really hit the Shabbos moment now. We're going to sing the psalm for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat, which is on page 27.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות, להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב להודות, להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, חוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות.
We will shortly be on page 28, the final chunk of this beautiful psalm, Tzadik Katama Yifrach.
Tzadik Katama Yifrach Ke'eretz Bavanon Yizkeh Shetulim Bebeit Adonai Bechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenugu Meseva Deshenim Verananim Iyu Lehagid Ki Ashar Adonai Tzuri Tzuri Velo Avalata Mo. Shekochech. Toda Rabba. We've done several things to really signify it's Shabbat. We've sung songs, we've welcomed the Shabbos Queen. Now we get to do my favorite ritual, which is to bless these Shabbos candles, which we've already lit because Shabbat is already kind of here. In fact, we possibly lit them too early because they've almost burnt down. But you know what? We wanted more light as early as possible. And Maddie, our bat mitzvah girl, is such a delight that it is very fitting that we ask her and her matriarchs to light the candles with us by offering the blessing. So we have Heather, and we have Heather's mum, and we also have some aunts who are going to all just envelop Maddie and beam that beautiful warmth. So they're going to offer the blessing now. And you can stand if you can for this. And those at home, you're welcome also to stand and to make the blessing with them as well. Anyone wants a mic?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ha'ner shel Shabbat.
Just click. Little picture of all of you there. Look at your wonderful women that surround you, Maddie. So I'm going to ask everyone just to say big Shabbat Shalom to one another. If you're podding with someone next to you, please feel free to give them a nice warm hug and a kissy. If you don't know them very well, maybe just blow them a kiss. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Shabbat Shalom to all those who are at home as well with us. And I'd now like to ask everyone to sit down unless you are Bill or Heather. You got a thing to do right now, and Maddie, because, well, it takes two to make a baby. And Maddie has grown up to be our bat mitzvah girl this weekend. And in this moment, in this light and this warmth, we want to offer her up some words from her parents, because this is really a family occasion, and they're going to give her a little gift. So we're going to hand the mic over to both of you. And yay!
Maddie. Maddie.
Perfect.
We can see the look in your eyes. You are thinking, now they are going to say how much they love me. And that they are so proud of me. How embarrassing. I hope I don't cry. Well, you are right.
and no one will notice you crying because our tears of joy will distract them. Yes, Maddie. We love you more than words can describe. Our love for you is unconditional and everlasting. You and Dylan are the food that nurtures our souls, the light that wakes us up in the morning, and the comfort that soothes us to sleep at night.
And yes, we are beyond proud of you, of your incredible hard work to prepare for this weekend. You conquered the Hebrew, the trope, the small print, and every other challenge that you faced. To see you become a bat mitzvah on the same bima on which we celebrated our b'nai mitzvah, that several of your aunts and uncles celebrated their b'nai mitzvah, and at a synagogue that means so much to your grandparents and our families, we could not be more proud. But what we are feeling now is much more than love and pride. Maddie, as we look at you, we see a young woman that we admire and respect greatly. You are fearless, you are brave, you are undaunted by any challenge. You are funny, you are incredibly kind, you are smart and inquisitive, you achieve. Maddie, there is a pureness to you that is rare and special. And perhaps most importantly, you are uniquely Madison Brooke Frank, and you are incredibly comfortable being you. That may be our greatest quality of all. Maddie, we watch you every day and we are amazed.
Judaism and Adat have always been an important part of your life. In a very innate way, you have been drawn to and have connected with both. As you begin your journey as an adult Jewish woman, we hope that you continue to explore and study Judaism, to learn and to experience, and that you chart your own rich Jewish journey. And beyond Judaism, please know that the future is a blank canvas for you, baby, because you can and will achieve whatever you set your heart and mind to. It will not be a straight line, life never is, and you will need to overcome many obstacles. It's just the way life works. But you have the strength and conviction, the fire and determination to achieve your goals, whatever you choose them to be. And you know that we and Dylan will always be by your side to support you. We love you, and we can't wait to celebrate this mitzvah with you this weekend. So you just hand it to her? You just give it to her?
Oh, she says the prayer, so we can all see it. Yes, here, you just hold it. She says the prayer.
No.
No?
She doesn't
Oh,
know.
gosh, I don't know, sorry.
So we give,
I'm so
just,
nervous.
that's okay, that's really fine. That's a beautiful.
One of her aunts.
So could you
Stephanie
please
made it.
tell us what about,
Go ahead.
Oh, go
So
ahead.
my Auntie Stephanie, she makes these, so my Grandma Barbara used to needlepoint everything, and she made my Auntie Stephanie, my dad, and my Uncle Aaron's talit bags. So when she passed away, Auntie Stephanie took over the job in every bar bat mitzvah, so her two kids, Dylan, me, and Sierra, and hopefully Misha, we all have handmade talit bags from her.
you guys got, I mean, it's inscribed in the inside, and there's a name over here. It's really beautiful. And the reason that we do this, giving a talit, saying, here's a talit, but you can't put it on now, which seems kind of silly, is so that she will have the talit first thing in the morning when we begin the services tomorrow morning. She will put the talit on before we begin our services in the morning so she can start with it on. And tonight, we all just get to look at it and appreciate the fact that she has reached this moment. And thank you to everybody who participated in getting this ready for her.
Yes, thank you.
Mazal tov.
And it'll also ensure that you'll come to synagogue tomorrow so you can see it being modeled. So thank you so much for those beautiful, warm words. I'm going to follow those beautiful, warm, loving words with some words of wickedness. Because this week's Torah portion is really all about wickedness, okay? If you really pay attention to what's going on. Because the people of the generation of Noah are so wicked that they are deemed by God, who just made humans and was so proud of it. God deems them irredeemable and wants to wipe them from the face of the earth with a horrible, brutal method of drowning. That's how wicked the people are. And again, we know that there are some survivors, and we know what happens, and we're going to learn more about Noah and his journey tomorrow. But after that, there's yet another story of wickedness, which is not as often focused on, but I just briefly want to include it in our minds tonight, which is that of the generation of the people who build a big tower that becomes known as the Tower of Babel, the Tower of Babel. This is after the generation of Noah, who were wiped out by the flood, almost entirely. There's then a generation, Nimrod is questioned leader, and these people get together and say, let us build a big tower up to the sky to make a name for ourselves and endure. And God hates this and says, I don't want this to happen. I need to go down to earth and confuse them, confound their language so that these people can't build together and they're scattered. I need to put an end to this. And on the surface, that doesn't seem to be such a wicked thing. But all the commentators agree that something deeper and bigger is going on, which is, this mic's kind of cutting in and out, so I might kind of just take the cantor's mic. I'm allowed to. And yes, this generation, the behind the scenes as to why they're actually building this big tower is because they want to attack God. They're actually building a tower to the sky because, and maybe it's because of what happened in the flood, that they're very angry at God for bringing down a flood and jeopardizing the world. They want to meet God, potentially to fight God, to dethrone God, or even to replace the God in heavens with their own idolatrous gods. There's debate as to why they're building this tower, but all of the commentators agree that this is wickedness, that this is a bad building project. Hence God's response, which is, separate them, break them up, they go into the naughty corner over there. It's like when you have siblings who are fighting, separate them, stop it. So yet again, something absolutely awful is going on. And here is where something kind of beautiful occurs. There is another midrash, Bereshit Rabbah, that comes along and actually talks about, wow, proto-human beings really had a lot of issues, didn't they? And they come up with this really interesting question, which is, which generation was worse? Well, they conclude, clearly the generation of Noah, because they're the ones that get wiped out. But this next generation, who are trying to take on and destroy God, pretty bad, if you're a monotheist, well, they don't get killed. They barely get punished. Because actually it's a beautiful thing that we got given different languages and diversity and the ability to become unique human beings. So we didn't quite get rewarded for that, but we weren't destroyed in that generation. And Bereshit Rabbah concludes, well, actually it's because of God's big heart. And this is where we can really connect this drush back to loving kindness. Because what it is really is going on is that God can't stand it when humans hate one another. And the wickedness that was happening with the generation of Noah is that they were stealing and abusing one another. So they were being horrible, crime against crime, humans warring amongst themselves. That's what God found unacceptable. Wipe them out, irredeemable. But the next generation, well, they were actually working biyachad, together, to build this incredible project. And God can take it that we want to overthrow God. God didn't mind that we were mad or scared or wanted to prove ourselves. And God almost laughs and says, well, they're not really going to win. They can't really ever get to heaven. That's silly. That's nonsense. Let me split them up. But that type of wickedness, that rebelliousness, God doesn't mind. And I love that. That's the most powerful message ever. Better that we are friends and neighbors and loving to one another than that we are mean towards God or reject God or get so angry we even want to kill God. God can take that, but God wants us to be friends. So I love that little take on the two wicked generations. And I encourage all of us to not be wicked like the generation of the flood. But if you need to be wicked, you can be wicked like the generation of the people who bought the Tower of Babel. First to the top, and then got destroyed. So, with that, I ask us all to be together in one language, the Holy Tongue, Hebrew, as we continue with our prayer service. Baruch Hu is on page 39a, and there is something lovely about the fact that even though some of us have different native languages, British English or American English, for example, different languages, we also have this shared language. So in some ways we've healed the Tower of Babel's rift by being able to have this common language. So let us pray. Please stand if you can. We will follow the cantor, page 39a.
Lie, 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 lie. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Leolam Va'ed. Lai 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 lai
We may be seated. We're nearly on page 40 now, Ahavat Olam.
El Chai v'Kayam, Tamidim lo chaleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'ma'ari v'aravi, Mahavat olam beit Yisrael, Chahavta Torah mitzvot u'kimim mishpatim. V'avatcha tatzir mimenu leolamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, והיה עם שמוע תשמעו.
The second and third paragraph of the Shema are to be found on page 42.
Adonai Elohechem emet v'emunah kol tovokayim aleinu ki Adonai Eloheinu v'ein zulato v'nach Yisrael ha'mo pidei. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכהנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נטע בקודש נורא תהילות עושה פלא נורא תהילות עושה פלא מלכותך ראו בניך בוקע ים לפני משה זה לי אנו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי פדרן את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום עמדנו מלכנו.
We're now on page 45, Hashkivenu.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים לשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו עלינו 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 ועל כל עמו עמו ישראל ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל כל עמו עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ
ושמרו בני ישראל לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ביום השביעי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, יעמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמי. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילא מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמם ויאמרו Amen.
We turn now to our silent prayer, the Amidah, on page 47 to 52. I invite you to pray this in your own space and time and in your own language. You can use Hebrew or English, or just go where you need to go in your heart. Say just a few moments of whatever prayer you need to say in this moment. We rise traditionally for this if we can, and you can sit down when you're done, and we'll meet you in a few minutes with an Oseh Shalom. Shalom bimroma, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. יקרא ויקרא שמי רבה, ביומא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי חונו וימי בחיי לכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם וליומי יומיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם מן השא ויתהדר ויתהלל ויתהלל שמי לקודשא, בריחו לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה ותושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בימה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלותון ובעלתון לכל ישראל קודם אבוהן וישמעיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו amen.
Amen. On page 55, we have Kiddush for Friday night, and we will shortly be offering the glass to Maddie. But in exchange, as a thank you for you leading Kiddush, leading a bunch of things tomorrow, sharing some words of Torah with us, and all of the things that you have done, all the hard work you've done in preparation for your bat mitzvah, we wanted to shower you with gifts. So, again, it is a response from Ariel to say we value you. We thank you for sharing your gifts with us. And therefore, the whole bunch of the synagogue and even the Jewish community got together and gave you different gifts. So you have a kippah from the men of Adat. And you have a wonderful mezuzah with the scroll in it from the women of Adat. You also have a gift certificate for $100 that you can use towards an Israel experience or a summer camp. Because we know this is not the end of your Jewish journey. You are such a passionate, enthusiastic Jew. So we just want to help you along your way. There's a fabulous organization called the LA Jewish Teen Initiative. And they also have a gift voucher for you, as well as socks for you to use because it's getting cold out there this winter. And there's a book from the Jewish Federation, an incredible book, The History and Modernity of Israel, that you can read on the plane as you go there. And we also have from the JNF a certificate that says trees have been planted in your honor in the land of Israel, just because you are a blossoming young woman. So it seemed appropriate. Am I missing anything, Kanta Aronoff? I think.
The bat mitzvah certificate.
Yeah, there's a bat mitzvah certificate that I hope you'll frame and put like right on your bedroom so that you can be proud of this moment for the rest of your life. I know you won't forget it. But these are just some of the gifts that we are giving you in exchange for all the gifts you're giving us. And to say thank you, we recognize just how hard you worked and you deserve it. So, in exchange, come on up. They won't be yours until you've led us in Kiddush. That's how it works. So, page 55. Take your time. We encourage everyone to stand if they can for this, and if you're at home, you can raise your Kiddush cups as well along with us. Page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher Kirishanu b'mitzvotav v'rotzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hin hilanu zikara lema'aseh bereishit ki uyom tehila lemikra kodesh zeher litmiyat mitzrayim kivanu baharta ve'otanu kidashra mikomin ve'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hin haltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen l'chaim.
Drink through the mask.
Cheers. Oh, and Maddie, I'd love you to lead that every single week. You have such a beautiful voice. That was one of the loveliest kiddishes ever. Thank you.
Don't forget your notebook.
Thank you so much, my love.
You kind of need
And
this.
everyone else, please stay standing because we're going to go straight into Aleinu, page 56.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומשב יקרה בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגבי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס סולתו רק כתוב בתורתו וידעתיו והשבותה אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא אלוהים השמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד. אוקיי, נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו מרבי דבר נצח כי המלכות שלך היא וללמד תמלוך בכבוד ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
Please be seated. On page 58, we have our mourner's Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom. So I actually invite all those who are saying this prayer, if you're observing a yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing away of a loved one, or if you're in a period of mourning yourself, to please rise if you can. And we're going to say this prayer together. And again, if you're at home, feel free to also say this prayer loudly. Page 58. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah ve'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam ul'olmei almaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemei dekudesha b'rechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata, de'amiran v'alma v'imru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May their memories sustain you and be a blessing to you, and may they inspire us to do good deeds in the world, and therefore they will live on with us. So we have our final prayer left. It's Yigdal, but before that, we just have a couple of things we want to say. First, and most importantly, Mazel Tov to Maddie Frank and her wonderful family on the occasion of your Bat Mitzvah weekend. You started it off so magnificently. We can't wait to have you back tomorrow. We are with you. I hope you feel the love, warmth, and support of your Adat Ariel community and friends. So just yay. If you want to be there, anyone else, it is 9:30 Shabbat services here, as well as on YouTube and on our Adat Ariel website. So yay. And then just a couple of other things that are going on. Actually, no, I'll thank the other people involved in services before I then give you the announcements, because they're sitting right there. David Kaminer is our wonderful accompanist and harmony singer as well, and he just enriches the services so much. So toda rabba, David. And obviously, our wonderful Cantor Judy Dubin Aronoff for choosing the tunes and the prayers. And doing L'chadodi in a major key this week, gutsy. It's almost always in a minor key. So that was exciting. And everyone who was able to come live and be safe, but with us at the same time. It was so lovely to see your faces and hear your voices. And the thing really that I just want to let people know about is that next week on Friday night, it is Nuranina. So if you're into music, it's a supercharged, wonderful Friday night with many musicians and singing opportunities. So feel free to come live to really feel the power of musicians, or you can tune in virtually as well. That's fine too. So that's coming up. So yeah, I think we'll leave it at that, because I know it's dark. It feels so late. I feel exhausted because it's getting dark earlier. So yeah, check out our Adat Ariel website for all other upcoming events. There's a lot going on. Cantor Aronoff, is there anything pressing that I forgot? Or would you like to, Cantor Aronoff's going to do a callback or a throwback. We're going to do Yigdal, but to the tune that I believe was used at the very beginning of services.
Indeed it was.
So Yigdal is on page 62.
So we started off the service with this Sor Mishelo, number 17. And just to remind you, the tune for that Sor Mishelo is, what key are we in?
A minor.
A minor. So it went like this. La na 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 na. La 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 la. And then there's another section too, but that was the main part. That was the chorus part. So I've never put it to Yigdal before. Yigdal is not a poem like Adon Olam, where just about anything goes to it. But I can fit this one into Yigdal, so I thought, why not? So here we go. Now Yigdal is a really actually very cool poem that's got lots of words in it. And so give it a shot. There's English transliteration there, and you can also read the translation because it's really interesting. All right, so here we go, Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim chai ve'yishtabach nimtza v'yenet el metziuto echad v'en yachid כייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף ליהדותו. אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא נערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא. ראשון ואין ראשית ראשיתו, לה 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 לה, הינו אדון עולם, בכל נוצר יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד נביא ומביט את אמונתו תורת אמת נתן לימואל על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו לילה לא יכל לפועל ולא ימיר דתו לעולמים לזולתו צופה ויודע סתרנו מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו נותן לרשע רע כרישתו ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו לי מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Yesha Karl, that worked so well.
Shabbat shalom. Thank you. Good to see you too. That's a fun one.
Is that fun?
It's fun. It goes back and forth from minor to major, and it's got some nice kind of turnarounds and whatever you want to call them, progressions.
Yeah.
Fun. I don't think I'd ever heard it.
Really?
I don't think so, because I know all the funny ones. You know, Surmi Shalom.
Yeah.
I know all the ones you know, and you know a few I don't know. It's starting to sound like something from The Wizard of Oz. I know something that you don't have, and that's a heart. But I'm going to give you one. Take care. Shabbat shalom. Could you hear me this?